Hey there, esports fans. Welcome back to the PCS for our final game of the night. Before we get into the analysis for it, I would like to take a wonderful moment to thank our sponsors. A wonderful moment for our wonderful sponsors, in fact. CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chunghwa Telecom, and Caliber joining the party. Thank you all for making the PCS possible. And Mr. Nightstar, we have got PSG taking on Impunity to bring us home. Now, Impunity, this is a tough task. Anybody trying to take on PSG is a tough task. But if they do it, if they can pull it off, losing to Liab doesn't mean a thing, baby. They lock playoffs.
That is indeed true. If they pull off the upset of the split, they would indeed lock themselves into playoffs. And more importantly, they would actually put themselves in a position to start hopefully making a play for that sixth slot. If they win against J-Team, which is another tall task, they would put themselves in a spot that they could go into sixth place tiebreaks.
It's crazy how close it is at certain points of the standing. Like, we've talked about how, obviously first place is unreachable. PSG already locked it in. Second seed still on the table because of how close these teams are at the top, but also down at the bottom. Liab still being able to make it with that victory over Impunity earlier today. Impunity fighting for their lives to lock it in here today, and then of course they'll face off J-Team tomorrow. And the fact that you've got Berjaya Dragon's Hong Kong attitude in the mix. Like, a sixth place is possible for a team that currently isn't even locked in for playoffs. It's incredible. Like, tomorrow's going to be so spicy. I can't wait. But we still got this game today.
Yeah, tomorrow's really going to set the stage for a lot. But it all comes down to Sunday for those games, and now,
it's true, tie breaks.
Well, you have to win first to actually start that next conversation. And this is the Titan that they have to take down. It's Hanabiya top lane, River, Maple, Unified Kaiwing. Last time around, they were able to drag the game to 31 minutes. It was probably one of the more competitive games against PSG early on this split. They'll look to try and replicate it here.
Yeah, not only that, but it was also the Moonblack Kled pick, which I know excited some people, particularly Clement, for a little bit until he looked at the matchup, because unfortunately Maple was playing LeBlanc and just dominated the game, really saved it at the end. And yeah, I mean, PSG, even when it looks very close, this team has yet to fall. They are unkillable, and they are going for something that's never been achieved before in the PCS, a perfect split. They're only 2 games away from doing it.
Yeah. And, there's been a little bit of murmurs about it from the PSG Twitter page, but I can imagine they don't want to perhaps jinx that record. But now we're going to look at Impunity's lineup here. It will be Biriku in that bottom lane once again. So we're going to get another look at this new bot laner. However, it's
not on the camera, unfortunately.
It's a different task. Pyra, last time he had a much better matchup against Dawn and Aiden. This time he probably has to go up against the strongest or the second strongest bot lane duo.
Yeah, let's, of course, compare our mid laners, though, because that is the featured matchup. I feel like this is definitely the most appropriate. Maple, a mainstay of this region, honestly just covered in accolades, Worlds experience, you name it. And in pretty much most of the categories, he does quite well for himself, but he's not relied on to be the main damage dealer for this team this split. And that is why you see damage numbers, DPM, a little bit better for Moonblack. In fact, at least when he gets his hands on some of his more favored champions, he does pump it out. The big difference, it's that gold differential at 15. Impunity have a hard time making out a laning phase alive, and that's kind of one of the stats that really proves it.
Yeah, that's definitely a big issue for this squad, especially going down 700 gold. That is an insane amount of gold that early on. And the last time they did play, the reason for their success was Kled for Moonblack. He was able to call a lot of the shots for the squad. And yes, he wasn't doing a lot of damage, but when you get to decide how to fight and you get to be that frontline tank, that's a lot different from when he has to kind of put himself at risk, like the Silas put behind where he doesn't have those extra levels to be that insane drain tank or something like an Azir who has to risk a lot of damage to try and start out a fight.
Yeah, PSG actually not opting to ban the Azir just yet. They still have one more to do. Of course, always banning out the Moon Black Heimerdinger is the play. Breaku won't get a chance to play the Ziggs. I wonder if they let the Azir through, how much of a priority is it for Impunity? I mean, it shows hand very early, but, you know, this team certainly has some issues with, you know, when Moonblack doesn't get on a champion that is in his comfort.
That is one of the big issues for the squad. Viego taken away, which does mean both Azir and Kled are up available. Impunity are very willing to just early pick the Azir. However, I don't think that's a play against Maple, who will have infinite opportunities to just hard counter pick it.
Instead, they just go for the safe lock, and it will be the Renekton. You know, it's been talked about to death. Hanabi, it's kind of in his contract. If there's a Renekton available, he must pick it. Now, we have seen it flex. Maple's taken it twice. This is an opportunity to pull off, in multiple lanes, the Renekton and Nidalee combination. PSG have definitely shown to be very adept at it. River do like to see him on this champion, so I wouldn't be too surprised if that ends up being the pick. For Impunity side, they do manage to grab Xin Zhao for Epic. Champion he hasn't got a whole lot of experience on, at least not on the stage.
Yeah, a strong jungle champion, but it's about the 2v2 when you talk about the Zen, how he teams up with either that top lane or the mid lane. So I expect to see something a little bit more aggressive from Moonblack, a little bit more lane focused. Even something like a Lulu is pretty good with the Zen early on. You can shove in the wave, you can be lane dominant and shove in or harass Maple depending on the matchup. And PSG, okay, they go for the Olaf pick, which I would then assume Maple's going to get some sort of AP champion, high damage threat in that mid lane.
Well, the Rise is exactly that. So we may be seeing this. Now, of course, the answer typically would be the Cassiopeia. See if Moonblack wants to pull that one out. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. A lot of flashes going through at the last second. It's going to be the Zoe lock and another high damage champion. A lot more for the poke.
And not only that, still has that early roam potential similar to the Rise, but doesn't need the extra little bit of mana to do so.
And it does it again!
There we go. Kled. Yeah, the Kled comes out here. And I don't know if they win the 2v2, but this is exactly what you want from your mid laner to help your junglers run straight in. It's going to help facilitate this Leona as well.
Kled does exactly that.
Yeah, if Maple ever makes a mistake in his positioning, if he uses that ult a little bit too early just to try and go for some poke, he will get absolutely dunked because of how aggressive they can play with these ultimates on Impunity's side.
Yeah, I like what Impunity are building. They're going to have to survive lane phase, of course, as always. The big challenge for them. And we enter ban phase 2. Will be a bot lane and a support banned out by Impunity. Going to take away the Varus and the Braum opportunities. And for PSG, well, we see the Syndra banned away. That has been coming up in priority on 11.15. I still think something like the Cassio, well, excuse me, Moonblack's already locked in his Kled, so maybe they're not convinced this isn't a top king pick.
Yeah, they go ahead, ban away the Kennen. They ban away the Syndra away from Bireku. I assume that they're worried that there is a bot lane Syndra coming up on the map.
Okay, gotcha.
And it would be one way for them to get magic damage into the squad. But because of how low range they already are, if you have that charge available from the Kled, they could go for something like a Gwen or
Aurelia. All right,
there we go.
That's, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of running, a lot of dashing.
Pretty low range composition, but again, the charge helps kind of bypass some of those range issues you do have, and it also puts Top King on his best champion into Hanabi, who has a propensity to just get solo killed as well.
I think Impunity, like, okay, so hear me out here. I feel like you can round this out with a Sivir. Even more run at them. It's all AD.
I can imagine that. I can see that. For PSG, this is the time where you just you lock in Malphite support, baby.
Oh no! Oh boy. I don't think we're gonna get anything that crazy. At last second, it's not gonna be the Yuumi. It will be, in fact, an Alistar Ezreal lane. So just trying to play for the neutralization. Getting a nice little flash of the Bard right there. Little Kaiwing nod.
Yeah, and the benefit of this composition that Impunity did build up here is that they can't get Bard for the side of PSG because they're so durable. They're so tanky, and you don't have any vulnerable members that will get tagged up. And this is a
Seraphine
big pick here, because this Seraphine pick is going to love this composition. They have so many members just far forward. It extends the range of the Encore and also brings the more important magic damage that they need in this composition, and also just provides infinite amounts of heals and shields.
Okay, so Impunity really pulling out all the stops for their final game tonight. This composition certainly looking like they want to take it straight to PSG. And the question you always have to ask, though, is how well equipped Impunity will be to play it out early. PSG have a habit of speed running over the competition, but have been taken to task before. You know, I'm still casting my mind back to that Boom game that went 49 minutes, really went the distance and nearly turned in favor of Boom until Unified pulled a big old save to the game. But, you know, PSG, they are gunning for that perfect split of 18-0. Impunity, they've thrown a couple wild cards out, and we'll see if it's going to be enough. Nightstar, again, I got to ask you, I know the nameplates are important. Let's turn them off. Who do you like on paper?
Nameplates off, it's Impunity. Because of the Kled, they're going to be able to make up for the distance that they would otherwise lack against a Zoe Ezreal. And then with this Encore, it makes up for the fact that they don't have magic damage built into the composition, and it also keeps a lot of these tankier members topped off in these fights. They're going to be very difficult to just burst down. And because it's so poke focused with an Ezreal Zoe, it means these tankier bruiser targets, if they are able to start the fights immediately, they should come out on top.
Well, that seems to be the game plan from Impunity.
That's assuming they don't get dumpstered in lane, Pyro.
I mean, yeah, that's always a bit of an asterisk, but, you know, we'll find out very shortly, I imagine. Impunity are trying to lock playoffs. If they get a win here, if they do the impossible, the previously impossible, and take out PSG Talon, they will lock a spot in the playoffs, make a big statement.
Welcome to Summoners.
But if they lose, they still have a chance. However, this is going to be the tough task for them in the early stages of this game to just try and survive. And look at this very defensive posture. They don't want to let any PSG shenanigans fly.
Playing very aggressively here. And one of the things is the fact that River, he actually has the Ghost taken here, which I love because it empowers the Olaf pick to be so much more aggressive. And given the fact that there isn't really terrain control coming in from Impunity, you don't need to flash over certain spells to get into that backline. You are just going to be able to charge forward, use that move speed, stick onto targets. And it helps that the side of Impunity, they're kind of just charging straight into you as well.
That's true. You know, multiple tools to make it work. Talked about the charge, of course, the surround sound from Seraphine, making that possible. And everybody's got a gap closer elsewhere. So we kick off our laning phase, and Hanabi goes for a little bit of a brush bait. Oop, Top King flashes him his team.
Yeah, and this will be an important matchup to watch because of how well Top King does tend to do against Hanabi. I believe he's gotten the solo kill against Hanabi every time they've matched up except the previous game. So we'll see if he can keep that trend up.
Yeah, certainly something to be proud of. I mean, Hanabi traditionally the weak side top laner, but this split certainly has bucked that trend on a number of occasions. Definitely want to keep our eyes on that lane. But in the meantime, I think things can always happen down bottom side. Unified and Kaiwing they're not the most aggressive. They're just a very good bot lane, a highly skilled bot lane, but it's no Doggo and Kino. So I don't know if we're going to get too much. Oh, as soon as I say it, nice little trade, bit of poke, but very controlled, right? They're not going to all in at level 2.
Yeah, certainly not looking to look for that all in. And the important thing is just going to be keeping track of these two junglers, as both of them are now on their top camp. And perhaps we'll see early action going into the mid lane or in that top lane here. Is you definitely identify that top lane as a very volatile matchup.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be an interesting one for sure, and I think both the junglers are going to want to get involved. Obviously, River going very low this Olaf clear, but it's Epic who goes early into the mid lane, and
good dodge.
Just whiffs on that. Yeah, nicely dodged out by Maple, just for a second. And both of the junglers actually spot each other in the river. Epic thought he might be able to get a little bit crab after the fact, and I think he may be able to still.
Yeah, Epic has Smite here, so he's going to be able to secure the crab if they wanted to try and challenge that. So that was not going to be an issue. Now River maybe trying to cut off Xin. Actually,
Moonblack could be in trouble. Does have a health bar to work with, though. And, he actually goes in to charge. Bear Trap on a rope is there. Sleepy Trouble Bubble going to land. Paddle Star. He gets popped off Scarl, but he's got a pocket pistol. He's going to survive the undertow.
Well, he could have been a situation where if they burned the flash, that would have been massive. But unable to do so, there's still plenty of safety built into this champion because of the Scarl interaction and being able to burst through that second health bar, and more poke trades coming through. Really well done from Krelix. This time around, put on a champion that's not Thresh. So
yeah,
we get to see a different look.
His first non-Thresh game. Yeah, I just realized Krelix coming in game number 5, playing a different champion. And Bareku, I mean, how about a statement? Comes in at the end of the split, off the bench, plays a Seraphine against the top team of the league. Definitely a little bit of a different look here for Impunity. I was wondering what they were doing last time around, because the swap did seem to come out of nowhere, but you know, now I kind of see maybe it's a different bit of a champion pool.
Could be a champion
Farm
pool
game, not so good
thing. Yeah, unfortunately the laning isn't great, but you just want to kind of, as long as you don't get hard punished and die a couple times and lose EXP, you're perfectly fine on this champion. Also got bonus scaling on her AP ratios, got an extra 5% on her Q, I believe, which any extra damage is going to help, especially in this composition that's so AD front loaded.
Oh yeah. Maple. Gonna burn that flash. Epic on the chase, and not gonna be able to find anything else there, as the Trouble Bubble will split the uprights. Okay, tense call, but you know, it's a little hard for Moonblack to really follow up on a gank pre-6. Ooh, double knock up. There we go. Wolverine.
That's the chase.
Talk about being hard punished. There's first blood. Skywing secures it with the ignite. Now things look a little bit rougher.
Unfortunately, they don't get the kill onto Unified, but it will still force out the teleport. At the very least, like, if you're the Seraphine, yes, you die here, but you still have your teleport to get back into the lane. The bigger thing is the fact that he is missing now the flash, which makes him incredibly vulnerable to a level 6 play coming in from the Olaf, but it does look like they're making a level 6 play up top side instead.
Oh, and Epic's here. Yeah, that actually immediately, they just come in, they turn around. No thanks, we don't actually want this anymore.
Yeah, not gonna risk it, but now
here comes the charge. Yeah, Moonblack around the side just came on through, but he was solo. There's the flash forward from Epic, and it's a little bit of a split focus right now as they do get to the Vanguard's edge to take down River. Epic a little bit low, gonna try and dodge out as Maple turns around. Once again, actually finding the kill, the turnaround, and Hanabi is out of allies as his dominance is sure to fade. And there it goes, Impunity getting the better of that extended trade.
And this was the problem that PSG ran into last time around. They got way too happy and just accepting skirmishes like this. And River, not quite level 6, doesn't have that extra Olaf ultimate to just get the extra damage. And as a result, doesn't have enough to finish off Epic. Maple ends up chasing a little bit too far out to try and finish the kill. And they're just really disjointed on this skirmish.
Yeah, you can see Hanabi was like, maybe I can slice and dice over the wall. Nope, not gonna work. So, you know, critically for Impunity here, they get kills onto carries. Top King gets 2, Moonblack gets 1. I think you're very happy about that if you are Impunity, considering how First Blood went for you.
It puts Top King in a situation where now he can very much start taking 1v1s against the Renekton once he completes that first item. Epic, though, over the wall will get spotted by Kaiwing. He still goes in, though.
Yeah, he actually opts for it. Well, Moonblack is in a little bit of trouble,
Everyone's
too. And he,
here.
unfortunately, is going to be in some huge trouble as he gets just bopped
Epic's
by PSG. Epic, he has nowhere to go either. So,
Hey,
some
what do you know?
unforced
We're at
errors, it
Dragon
feels
now.
like. Yeah, all right. Well, PSG, they just turn right around on it. How about that?
Escorted straight over to the Cloud. That's gonna help out a little bit here, but more importantly, it gets the Dragon stack starting out for PSG. And for the side of PSG, they do want to really threaten an early soul because it forces them to try and peek into them where they can set up for these poke situations. As Moonblack, he sits in the bush, not the bush he wanted to be in.
Ooh, not at all. Epic kind of gets a little bit baited there. You could see that Impunity's bot lane were just not really in position to try and react in time. They were kind of still on ramp when that fight was wrapping up.
Yep.
So trade back.
Just unable to get back to their squad. And Epic, it may look a little bit confusing why he dashed in, but he was dead regardless. He was way too far separated and nowhere really to go there. Top King trying to force this kill.
That is a very ambitious Vanguard's Edge. It was a good flawless duet earlier, and now they're just going to go for the dive. But, ooh, Moonblack getting caught up by River, and actually going to go for the 1v1, but unfortunately Hanabi is here, and he's got no Blast Cone to go to, no flash to speak of. Actually is able to hop the wall once Scarl pops off, but PSG counter collapse again.
Now they're trapped.
Epic and Top King are trapped on the opposite side. Sleepy Trouble Bubble going to land, big ol' Battlestar, and Hanabi is just keeping him locked in place. Tag Team League of Legends, Top King gets 1 for his trouble. And Epic should fall. There we go. Crescent Guard, he's staying around for way too long a time for anyone's comfort, but they will finally find the kill, and now it's on to Herald.
What do you know? We've been escorted straight over to Herald now. It's just perfect League of Legends.
Oh, no. Serendipity.
Yeah. They get escorted over to that first dragon. Now they get escorted over to that Rift Herald. Impunity. They're trying to call for these plays.
The crowd gets escorted over to the pit.
Yeah. What do you know? Now the next objective, easily the crab, but we see this replay here. They're just too easily read. They go, oh, well, where does Scarl want to go? Probably top lane to try and dive Hanabi, and River's in place to respond. And yeah.
I think Scarl had more sense there than Moonblack.
Get out of there. And leaves Moonblack to die. And yeah, not much to say afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it really is a read situation. Like, I don't mind trying for these dives. The problem is they're giving away too much information. PSG are just too good at the ward game. Moonblack is maybe just a little too ham. That could be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, second time around, they've figured out how to play against this Kled pick a lot better than the first time around, which is definitely good news.
Top King.
Definitely a little bit.
Hanabi. Ooh! Again, a little too easy to read.
Yeah. What do you know? River's here too. And they see it go.
Dominus on. River tags his way in. Down behind tower they go, and oh boy. Top King tries to salvage the situation. Nothing doing. Hanabi's not the weak side anymore.
Yeah. He's the bait on the fishing rod, and they take it hook, line, and sinker right then and there. Usually you don't put a crocodile on
Team double kill.
a fishing rod, but you know that's the case here.
Apparently you do if you're a Viking. I learned that today. That's just League of Legends things you learn. Right now, 12 minutes into this game, pretty sizable advantage of 4,000 gold for PSG. Map control in their favor. Got a good number of wards invested around the map, especially on the bottom side. I don't think they'll be keen on making the same mistake twice up top, and Top King is going to face check right into the 2-man. Oh no, he's got flash, knows he isn't going to be able to get out in time, doesn't even use it.
Wave coming in, they should be able to break this tower.
Yeah, I think they've got it. Good old undertow there. This is disastrous here for Impunity.
Yeah.
You know, they had some good plays early on, but it just wasn't enough.
As is the case with the Impunity squad, against some of the lower teams who aren't well versed when it comes to rotational gameplay, they can definitely get ahead of those kinds of teams. It's just against PSG, who really dictate the pace in our league, it's so hard to figure them out to be ahead of the masterminds of PCS.
I think that is certainly a tough order for sure. PSG just several steps ahead, but also just map awareness. They're so good at this. And can't fault Impunity for trying, but they need to be a little stealthier about their play. And man, answering top turret take and an extra Rift Herald charge with just one plate, that is not going to cut it.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Now 5k gold behind. Inferno Dragon up and available. I don't think they're going to be looking to try and contest just because of the gold differential at just 14 minutes into the game. You see in that mid lane, it's dire. In that bot lane, there's a big CS differential, but at the very least, okay. River might be caught out.
Like maybe they find something here. Sleepy Trouble Bubble doesn't land, but
They've
the
run out of
cavalry's
damage.
already arrived, and whoa! Man, that trap just shut. Epic's still gonna try to make something out of it. He looks for River, but River just too healthy, and the rest of the team has got his back. Impunity, they do get one shutdown onto the Ezreal, but otherwise it is just an absolute PSG meat grinder. Maple going low. Maple will fall. That's Barenku getting one. Shutdown gold's big, but it's kind of a consolation prize here.
Small consolation prize, but at this point, your win conditions are getting the Cyrelia ahead and making sure that this Seraphine is going to be able to get off the ground, be able to get her scaling. As we see the replay, yes, it was a good pick-off initially, but then you remember that this is a Kled that's behind and the Leona. They just don't have the damage to execute River. And then Buriku, he shows up a little bit too late. At the very least, gets himself 2 kills. And that will help jumpstart his ability to play some of these fights. But at the rate that PSG are playing, at the pace they're playing, it's going to be difficult for the Seraphine to actually have a say in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to hold out for now. Oof, even Top King having a really hard time just in the 1v1. After all those plays. Oh, the teleport does come in as he's trying to bait this one out. I think this is Moonblack as he follows with the bear trap on the rope. And, well, they've caught themselves a croc, but Hanabi just flashes the pit. All that investment comes to nothing.
That's a teleport invested there, and the jungler attention thrown at that lane. Hanabi is still able to get out with only the flash himself. That opens up for Maple to be able to secure this bot tower. He even picks up a salvaged teleport, so he has that to use in the next little while. Short while,
this is a little rough here for Impunity. They're trying to make plays. They're trying to get picks. I don't know if Hanabi is really the one that you want to be focusing your attention on, but it is very hard to catch everyone else.
Trying again.
You know, yeah, they are going to go once again. I guess he is the easiest target to pick up. Air quotes, easiest target.
Overextends more so than a lot of these other members. However, I really want to see them to try and focus down Maple because he is a lot easier target to lock down. Yes, he has a gap close or gap opener with the portal jump, but he does have to return to his original position, so he's not going to be able to run away from you like that. And unfortunately, I'm able to find the pick, and at this point in the game, slowly but surely, unless Bureku goes absolutely nuclear, game's looking very PSG favored and looking for them to be one win away from locking in that perfect split.
Certainly looks to be the case. They get another Shelly charge off to take down mid turret. That will be the last of the outers. PSG have held on to all of theirs so far in this game. Just full map control. They leave Hanabi on the bottom side to keep the minion wave pushed. Oh, Krelix just flashing the white flag there. Oh no, that's not a good sign.
Certainly not a good sign because... Wait a second. Alright, Pyra.
Alright. What do you got, Nightstar?
Look at Kaiwing.
Okay.
And look at his items.
Oh. Oh boy.
This is the wizard cow. He's taking us to the promised land, baby.
Okay, I've been telling you know I think I was talking to you about this when we were reading up for this match. But like we've talked about how the top teams in this league just have like some like multiple weapons, like 3, maybe even 4. I firmly believe PSG have 5 threats on this team. Kaiwing has pop-off games too, baby. PSG are just they're so damn good. Everybody.
He's 3-0-4. He has the Medjai's now stacking up. You better watch out. If he's able to get this
Magic
to like
Cow.
10-15, he's going to be one-shotting some fools.
Oh boy. Okay. The
What do you
focus
know?
on
They're trying to
Hanabi
kill
is
Hanabi.
unreal. It's the big charge. All right, top team with the teleport in. Bear trap on the rope. He goes to Dominus. They really want a pair of croc skin boots, and they will get it. Moonblack does get bounty gold. And there's not a lot to get on the map to counter, so worth?
I mean, honestly, it's a big win for Impunity because it comes at very minimal cost. The big issue is what's the cost moving forward because they don't have those ultimates or at least the charge for the next little bit. And it is a bit of a long cooldown because of how impactful it is. Which means PSG, they can play very aggressively forward when it comes to the next little bit, especially around this ocean.
Uh-oh. Top King, a bit of an
Bye-bye.
oopsie. I think he canceled his back. Well, Ocean's going to go down pretty quickly. PSG can lock that up and get themselves on soul point sub 20 minutes. Gotta be feeling pretty good about that.
It's definitely very good. It's going to be a sub 25 minute soul spawn, and if they're able to get the ocean soul against that composition from Impunity, which is pretty low DPS, and whatever DPS that they do have in Top King and Biroku, it's pretty persistent damage, which is exactly what Ocean Soul is good at neutralizing.
Absolutely. They are going to try and cut the healing, of course, of everybody.
Getting the
Hanabi
Hanabi treatment.
Oh, yep. Top King, how does it feel? I was going to say Hanabi, he's gone the Grievous Wounds route. The
Red team's turret has been
Chempunk Chainsword.
Yeah. You know, I actually love that name.
It is kind of a hard one to get off the tongue, but
it's
once you
very
do
edgy.
it, you feel very, well, it's literally, I mean, look at it, it's
Yeah.
nothing but edge.
Exactly. It's probably a fantastic item that they've introduced.
That makes like 13-year-olds on the internet just like look very straight and narrow. So much edge. All right, PSG are just the siege machine is kind of unstoppable at this point.
Yep.
This is gonna be a hard hold for Impunity.
It's going to be insanely tough at this point. But they're going to keep trying to go at it. However, like again, PSG, they've learned their lessons this time around. They're getting closer and closer to the perfect split as well. So I think they're trying to be as tight as possible when it comes to their gameplay. And they haven't shown a lot of openings for Moonblack to try and take advantage of with this Kled ult. And the only times that they have, well, it's been Hanabi.
Yeah.
But you know what? Someone has to die.
I guess it might as well be Hanabi.
Yeah,
The rest
you
of
want
the
to
team
protect the
are okay
stacks
with
on the cow. You don't want him to get picked off.
Oh no, absolutely. You got to keep those stacks going. Oh man, I can't believe it. Kaiwing, he's having a game.
Wait, I think he's building Everfrost too.
Oh yeah, no, Thunder Cow. Well, Freezy Cow.
But he's playing the Inferno cow.
It's a lot of elements, you know. He's dishing damage. He's a He's a cow wizard. Oh, Moonblack talking.
There he is.
Here we go. And they just go charging into the brush. They do find Kaiwing, but he's still pretty darn tanky, all things considered. They want to take his stacks off, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. There's a lot of damage in the Death Ball. They do get the shutdown under.
Oh, that's 2 kills first.
Hanabi actually staying alive for now, but they might have found it. Moonblack on the front. Sleepy Trouble Bubble going to land, and he gets knocked off his Scarl. But that is going to be 3 kills for 0. Impunity. Against all the odds, they actually fight it out.
Can they go chase for more? That's the real question. Maple has the flash over.
Oh. And he does get the kill to follow through, just trying to bait it out. Maple with the double kill. He looks
look at the jump!
And he's getting even more. Do they have the damage on the Krelix? The turnaround. Triple kill.
Oh
Maple
my
staying
God,
alive in stasis. Finally, it's only Bareku standing. What was that?
It ends up being it's still a massive win for Impunity, and the fact that they're still able to take the team fight where they are in the game. This wasn't exactly a great charge, but you get the extra move speed. This composition is built for the 5v5 fights, front to back, very slow and steady. And Bareku, he gets to get a lot of healing done, a lot of damage done, but this is where Ezreal Zoe also thrive. When you see these low health bars, when you see all these summoners left on the ground, Maple just goes to work here. Lands that bubble, flashes over the wall, creates space for himself. Unify jumps over the wall. It's just all out mayhem, but when it's all scattered,
it's beautiful.
it just goes around.
Oh, I gets the ignite and everything. I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone get that much value out of a Zoe ever.
Yeah, if Unified actually landed the Q before and finished off Epic just one shot earlier, actually it would have turned into a 1v1 fight against Bareku. And you know what? I don't want to say it could happen, but when you're stuck in these choke points, it does make things easier for Impunity.
Oh, and this time they wore the brush earlier. Yeah, Moonblack really been the leader of all this in terms of charging in forward, and you know, whoever they find, they definitely commit to. I gotta commend Impunity for that. Target selection, the front to back team fight, it really worked out well for them. It was only that back half that really salvaged it for PSG, but it was still an Impunity win, and now that they know that this possibility is on the table, here comes the charge once more. Oh, and surprise, surprise, it's gonna be Hanabi. But he actually is able to dice away. Meanwhile,
now the
turn here. Oh, that's going to be the ultimate coming after the Seraphine. Do they have enough follow-up damage? Doesn't really look like it as they manage to tank through the first wave. The turn from Kaiwing and crew comes in huge as River getting one big kill, but now they're still going to follow up. And no, it's not enough damage at all. Bareku knows this fight is lost, and he turns back around as River picks up a triple kill. Well,
yeah,
Bareku, he'll be telling the story of that.
We have such low-range champions. River can just chase you down like that. He gets full value out of this Olaf pick, just life-stealing so much with the Gore Drinker, with his W. And he's just such a terror in these low-range combat situations. We're going to see the replay. They go on to Hanabi. Really nice play from Hanabi to split that fight, make sure he tanks the ult, and a well-timed ult coming in from Olaf, make sure he doesn't get locked down by the Encore. And while Encore is really good in these choke points, PSG, they're well spread out to make sure they don't get multi-man locked down by Bareku's Encore.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of a choke as that little point in the jungle, and I think that made all the difference. The split from Hanabi was brilliant. He knew exactly what was coming. It's like we talked about at the beginning of the game. It is kind of a pretty easy read on Impunity. You know exactly what they're going to try to do and where they're going to try to do it from. Meanwhile, Ocean Soul does get picked up. There is a teleport coming in here for Moonblack, and I don't know, are they going to try and force a Baron rush or a Baron answer? It seems like they're just waiting for PSG to pull the trigger on it, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
They're just like, please, start it out now. I'm begging you.
We're going to end the game one way or the other.
Oh, we're about to hit.
PSG are just like, where are they?
Where
They're here somewhere. Oh, there they are. River finds them, and there's a teleport. Oh dear, this is all.
They're on the chase.
This is becoming very scuffed, very fast. The charge coming in. Maybe they can turn the fight. Oh,
Moonblack's out of there.
Epic's gone. Krelix, he looks dead. Yep, okay. All right, well, in case you weren't tired of it, it looks like we're going to get some yakety sacks after all.
Hey, what do you know? Where's the escort going? Straight to Baron. And Moonblack, I mean, he channels the charge. Unfortunately, it targets River, so he kind of just whizzes straight past him there as an Unstoppable comes through. They don't even have
that retreat.
It's kind of the same idea behind Scion ult, right? Where he just yells out "coward" and he kind of runs
away.
But,
yeah.
We're gonna see how
Krelix
Krelix
did try to catch Unified, but oh man.
If he was just a little bit closer to that Encore, it might have been enough to stretch all the way to get the lockdown onto Unified. But even then, the follow-up damage isn't close enough, and
that's tough.
This is just going to be it. They've secured Ocean Soul as well, so what little damage coming out from Brugeriku, well, it's going to get regen very easily.
So, inhibitor already downed in the middle. Should be an easy cleanup on this top, and PSG, they're just going to slowly rotate around and look to close this one out. Trying to keep the waves clear is going to be very hard, yeah. PSG.
Yeah. The Baron minions are just going to do it all themselves at this point, so they need to look to go.
But Krelix, he's the one who's going to try to force the issue right now as he does fall early on in the fight. But will they be able to turn enough damage into the back? They look for Maple, but can't quite find him as he's just hopping, skipping, jumping. River taking down Top King. Moonblack is left alone. And that means it is absolutely lights out. True shot barrage clips. They can't even make it back to the fountain. And with that, the fight closes, the game closes, and PSG are closing in on a historic, perfect split. 17-0 right now.
Going to come down all the way to the final game of their split to determine if they secure that perfect split, and more importantly, Liab's chances still live on.
Liab are still in the fight. They have to be cheering for PSG Talon right now as they are kept alive, and tomorrow's games just determine so many things. We will be getting almost certainly some tiebreakers down there. I think we'll be getting some tiebreakers for second place as well, maybe even a few more. We got a wonderful couple of days of games here in the PCS to close out the regular season is what I'm saying. But PSG, they really sent it home, and man, this team, there's so few times I look at them and think anything but like, damn, they're good.
They're not half bad.
No, it's PSG Talon team. Pretty solid, you know. I'm really excited to see what this team does in the future. They're fun.
They might be able to do something at the international stage. I can't wait.
Maybe,
but you know what? I really can't wait because this team just has been so dominant, and we haven't seen everything that they can do because of just the large amount of gap there is between them and everyone else.
Yeah, you know, Machi like to signify a little bit of gap in a few places as at the end of that game, but I think PSG definitely, there is sort of a gulf that exists between them and the rest of the league. A few teams have been able to challenge them, but it just hasn't quite been enough to close out. And, you know, even if it's because of heroics, individual level, you know, we talk a lot about that unified Baron and Dragon steals up against the likes of Boom. They pull it back like they did the last time these two teams met. There's honestly just a lot to like about PSG, and if anyone can challenge them, we'll have to see in playoffs, but they've already locked up that first seed, and they are certainly looking to finish out without dropping a single game in the regular split, and that is quite an accomplishment.
I mean, final thoughts for this game. PSG, incredibly dominant for the side of Impunity. They weren't kind of expected to win this game regardless.
Right.
I do like the fact that they showcased the Seraphine, which was really cool.
Breaker wasn't that bad. I want to put that out there, right?
It does need a little bit more.
Yeah, there's work to be done, but you know, I think it's easy to look at the shifting lineup. You know, we talked about this last week and the week before for Hong Kong Attitude, thinking like, okay, maybe this is a panic move. You're not seeing what you like out of your current roster, so you're making a change. Bareka comes in, and he showcases something a little different here. The Seraphine, maybe it's the champion pool that they select him for. I'm not entirely sure, but Impunity are trying to experiment, and I respect that. I like that. It's difficult to do against the best team in the league, But respect for going for it, even if it didn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when it comes to MVPs for this game, this one was kind of hard to lock down, right? Because kind of everyone
Scoreline, maybe River.
really
I
popped
don't know.
off in general. It was more of a team effort rather than a really large individual. But I would say probably River in slowing down the Zen, but then also just taking over a lot of these, again, low range team fights where you are able to just go ham.
Yeah, like really just being able to frontline and chase people down and just stick to people. It's something that Olaf can do really well. We had that ghost on, something we don't see all the time, and was really able to make pretty much everyone on Impunity kind of run away, run screaming for the hills. But it will be Maple that picks up the MVP, and I do think that's a respectable choice considering how much he was able to clean up that fight that Impunity had almost really won out up in the top side, and just did so many things with those like pilfered summoner spells, just flash and ignite and flash again, and then into the stasis. And like it's like this guy's got extra fingers. He's just able to get so much more done than anybody else.
Yeah, he did do a lot of work, especially in that one top skirmish or around that red buff. That was really just a pure display of Maple's skill gap in his role over everyone else right then and there. And yeah, once again, Maple coming in clutch and pulling out some of these fights similar to what he did on the LeBlanc last time around.
Yeah, these assassins and burst style champions he always thrives on. And I feel like sometimes you can get lulled into a false sense of complacency because everyone on PSG is so terrifyingly good and standout that you're like, yeah, do we really have to worry about Maple? Yes, you actually do. He will absolutely crush you if he gets the chance. So well earned for Maple. I think the whole team had a wonderful effort. I did love the item choices on Kaiwing. But there was a lot to like from PSG. They're having a little bit of fun with it. They're feeling themselves. They've got one more game to go before we get into the postseason. But one thing is certain, they will not be playing any tiebreakers because no one can catch them. I don't have to look at the schedule to be absolutely certain of that. Let's take a look at our results for today. Yes, you are reading it right. J-Team and Boom Esports did not play as there was an issue with connectivity due to an ongoing typhoon situation. So that game will be played tomorrow as a reminder before we start off the rest of the games of the day. So tune in at GMT +8, 3 o'clock. I should probably flip those things around. Once again, that is 3 o'clock p.m. GMT +8. But of course, the rest of the games that did play, we saw some solid performances. Liab taking down Impunity to keep their playoff hopes alive. Even a respectable showing against Megabank Beyond Gaming. Honestly, these guys are learning and growing every day. I love to see them. Whether it's Liab or Impunity in the playoffs, I think it'll be a worthy team. And there is our current standings. If you take a look at it down the line, PSG Talon, just about everybody's locked here, with the exception of Impunity and Liab. Alpha are the only team that cannot make playoffs currently. And, we are certainly going to be in for some likely tiebreakers as you see it in second place and as you see it down there between 5th and 6th.
We'll certainly see some sort of tiebreak, whether it's for the second or that third seed. If one of these 2 or 3 seeds slip up tomorrow, it does give the possibility of Boom to then go ahead and catch up to him and send that to a tiebreak. But more importantly, of course, it is that Impunity Liab situation where Liab, if they get the win and also Impunity do expectedly lose, then more importantly, it's about Liab getting that win, and it's against Taipei J-Team, who haven't dropped the game to anyone in the lower half of the standing. So it's still a very tall matchup.
Oh, yeah. So before all these games take place tomorrow, once again, we have J-Team taking on Boom. That'll be right at the top, so slot that in your minds. But yeah, the games to watch here, absolutely Liab versus Alpha. That is a must-win for Liab. Alpha are only playing for pride at this point. But Liab, if they are able to win that, they're still alive for the playoff race. And then Impunity versus J-Team right after that. If Impunity lose, it forces a tie-break scenario between those two teams for the final playoff spot. And then for the rest of it, Well, it does come down to seeding because there are teams trying to hang tough for the, 5th, 6th place position. Obviously want to keep an eye on Machi versus Boom. If Machi can win that, they stay in contention for a 2nd place seed. Boom, of course, need to pretty much win out. They'll have 2 games tomorrow as well as they face off against J-Team earlier on. And then J-Team, there's not a lot that team's going to do to change. They're kind of solidly in the middle where they have been almost all split, kind of just the gate and the gatekeepers between the top half and the bottom half. So really just playing for seeding for just about everybody else.
And Alpha, they've got 2 games that are actually pretty big when it comes to playoff implications for everyone else. If they beat Liab, they keep Liab out of playoffs. And if they beat Megabank Beyond Gaming, it would it would guarantee pretty much some sort of tiebreak situation.
And crazy tiebreakers.
Allows Boom to make a push for that 2nd seed themselves.
Yeah, so there is a lot to like. We're going to have 7 full games tomorrow. So for now, we are going to be signing off on behalf of, it will be, but what are you going to do? On behalf of myself, Nightstar, the entire broadcast team, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.